Hello everybody out there. Happy Friday. Guess what time it is? It's time for another episode of the Talk That Talk Show with me, Barry Holmes. And thank you everyone who's always tuned in each week. This is a special episode for me tonight because this marks the 1 year anniversary from when I first started this Talk That Talk Show. Just to even think now that we're at, 44 episodes, in a year. We've eclipsed over 18,000 views across Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We have our YouTube channel now, which is gaining some traction. We got people like John Zapata. Shout out to you, John Zapata. We're going to have some UFC talk for you, so I hope you're ready. But, we have loyal listeners like John Zapata who turn in each and every week. And for some people, this show is for them that ride up to work or that ride home from work. They have something to listen to. For some people, this is a talking point, for people that don't really have something to talk about as far as sports or, different things that happen in society and culture. So for me to be able to have this platform to not only tell people about who I am, but also to bring some people on that I'm friends with and that I encounter on my regular life, This show has started out, we started out just doing sports, doing different recaps and everything, but, I hate to sound redundant, but now we have transcended to a point now where we have different people on the show that have totally different perspectives. And, just to be completely reflective, it's just so awesome. I feel like I get those tingly feelings or I get that goosebumps before showtime still like I did on episode 1. So it's just, everyone out there that continues to tune in each and every week, that, continues to have me come out here and push great content. We want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, VW Liquors, located in Wick Plaza, Edison, New Jersey, Executive Bar and Restaurant, located in Carteret, New Jersey, and then also to my boy Cody Bromley at 91s.com, who has some of the best acid wash apparel in the game. And then also I was asked by also our unofficial sponsor, I guess you can say, but my boy Zishan Abbas, who is somebody that has for 44 episodes given us a consistent new beat each and every week. All the music that you hear on this episodes all come from Zishan Abbas. So definitely want to give you a big shout out, bro. But before we bring in our first guest, I want to talk about something that Zishan is doing and something that I'm really proud of him for. So for all the people that don't know, his Instagram is _ vitamin Z, all right? And one of the projects that he's working on is that he's going to have sneaker donations. He's looking for all different types of sneakers, right? He's looking for basketball sneakers, tennis sneakers, running sneakers, whatever sneakers that you have that you may not be using. Zishan is going to try and collect all of those so that he can give those to some of the underprivileged kids across America and in other countries. So he actually put it in the chat. It's going to be vitamin _ Z. All right. So hit him up on Instagram if you have any shoes that you want to donate. Again, we talk about this show and what we've grown into now, and this is a platform for a lot of people that are doing positive things. One of the things that Andrew Disney said on the last episode is to live a life is a life with purpose, right? So I just want to continue to highlight people out there that are trying to bring meaning and trying to bring purpose to other people's lives outside of their own. So thank you so much, Zishan Abbas, for what you do each and every week by providing me a beat and then also pushing me to continue to make great content. And I see what you're doing out there. And anybody that has those sneaker donations, please hit him up on Instagram, vitamin _ Z. And he's going to try and get those, sneakers out to some of those underprivileged kids out there. So big shout out to you, bro. So without further ado, for a lot of people who are excited to know who is he going to have on the show today? It's Friday night. You're snugged into your couch. You ready to go? Who do I got? Well, I got one of my best friends coming here on the show. We're Xbox guys. We're not PS4 guys, all right? You can throughout the day, you go through work and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But it's like once you put those headphones on, I'm right in the world with my homie, man. So even though I might not see him every single day, we're chilling every single day because we're on that Xbox. Whether we're playing 2K or PUBG if I can get him to play. So without further ado, I want to bring my really good friend here on the show. Please, everybody out there, give a big warm welcome for Robin Santiago!
My boy.
There's a mic right there.
What up?
How you feeling tonight, Rob?
I'm good. You know, it's Friday. Stagehouse later.
We might have... Okay, we might have to hit that up. I might have to change my t-shirt because I'm not exactly as formal enough. But, you know, how you feeling today so far,
Good, man. I'm good. Blessed, you know. We're here, breathing. It's another day. It might be a little rainy outside, but it's all good. You know,
I tell you what, you're a pretty special guy to land a spot here on the first anniversary year episode, man.
I appreciate that. Oh, by the way, big congratulations.
Thank
1
you.
year. Let's get it. You come a long way, man. So that's
now. Is this a show? Is this a podcast that you listen to often? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I work at nights, so I'm in the truck driving all day. I just throw in an AirPod real quick and just zone out, listen to you, so I don't have to listen to the guy next to me.
And, you know, I think it's really awesome because I feel like for all those people out there, I don't know if you guys have your own Instagram chats or you have your own Facebook groups or, you know, those little group chats that you have. But, you know, every time Rob is telling me about different topics that he wants to hear about and, you know, different things that he's heard on the show that he liked and some things that he does want to hear. So, you know, from somebody that, you know, and he was one of the first people that really, how could I say, out of my friends group that was constantly talking about podcasts. So, like, you know, aside from this show, what are some other, like, you know, podcasts that you're listening to out there?
I'm a huge fan of Joe Rogan.
Okay, the Joe
Rogan's
Rogan,
my guy. I'm listening to Stephen A.
Okay.
On the daily. And some of those, like, forensic file type shows.
Really?
Stuff like, yeah, I get into those. It's just to kill time, you know what I mean? Just giving me something to listen to. A lot of crazy stories. But, yeah, the podcast, a lot of sports stuff. A lot of sports stuff, definitely.
And the thing is, you know, in having, you know, those different podcasts that you listen to, it's kind of funny to, like, it's almost like you have, like, it's almost like a new age newspaper, right? Because, you know, when you go through a newspaper, you're looking through, you're sifting through, but I mean, how many people really, you know, read magazines anymore now? So, you know, for a lot of people, podcasting is the way that you're getting your information. And one of the things that I definitely wanted to talk or bring up to you is that one of the hugest things that's going around, I don't care whether you're in New Jersey, California, Texas, but everybody's talking about this coronavirus thing. And, you know...
Wash your hands.
He said wash your hands, right? But I want to tell you about just the reach that this is having, right? So here you have Keene, the softball team, right? The Keene softball team. And they were supposed to have a trip to go out to, you know, Florida to play a softball game. But now they actually canceled all traveling for the year for the athletics program because people are so worried about this coronavirus. So I guess my question to you is, having heard that, like, at what point do you feel like it, you know, are we being too preventative for this coronavirus, or is this something that we really should be stopping all traveling for and it's just as big as we think it is?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a big deal. You know, when you look at 100,000 people who've caught it, maybe a little less or so, 5,000 damn near people died. You know what I mean? So, just losing one life to a virus, you know, it starts to add up. In Jersey, just in one day, you know, I see on my news feed like 3 or 4 different times someone's already died, or you know, it's moving fast. It's spreading like crazy. You know. It's definitely something to be concerned about. I wouldn't treat it like, you know,
something like, yeah.
You know, if I'm going to the airport, I'm probably going to put a mask on.
Like, you're going to be one of those masks?
100%. You know, I'm not playing around with that stuff.
I will say, not to be, you know, call it a spade, but a lot of times when we're on the subway, you usually see the Asian people are the ones that have, you know, the face mask. But now what we've started to see when I've been traveling is you're starting to see a lot more people that are using these face masks and are using different things. I saw somebody had a Tupperware on their head, which was kind of ridiculous. But, you know, what preventative measures have you taken now that we have this coronavirus out there?
Really, it's airborne, so it's hard to I guess to stop the spread. But I mean, the biggest thing is just cleanliness.
Yeah.
If you're washing your hands, you know, taking a shower, whatever the case may be, it's just, there's no other, I don't know any other way to try and, you know what I mean? You just got to get these germs off of you. That's the biggest thing. My kid goes to school, you know what I mean? So it's like, they're talking about making school all online if it gets like too serious. And that's across the nation. So it's like, it is a big deal, you know what I mean? And it could spread that easy. You know, one kid has it. Now, I think I even read on my way here, actually, someone transferred it to their pet. So
really?
Yeah, so even dogs are getting it now. So it can spread that much, that easy.
And it is crazy, man, because I remember we had a conversation, or I don't know who it was with, but, you know, for a lot of people, those preventative measures are things that we should do every day, right? Like just washing your hands, just being a clean person, being a normal human being, right? But I can tell you how many times we're at the bowling alley and you go to the bathroom and you see someone just walk right out without washing their hands. I'm like, oh, you got coronavirus, man. What's up with you, man? So,
chill out.
You know, it's crazy just to think that, you know, in a times, you know, where you're having this coronavirus that's going around, that you can have some people that are so up in arms that you're going to stop athletics or stop the traveling. And then you have some people that are still pissing without washing their hands, you know? So it's crazy to see the disparity here. But, you know, one of the things that I wanted to ask you too is that, you know, you have, you know, I just want to say big congratulations because you just had your second daughter. So congratulations to that. You know, how does it feel to be, you know, a young father out here, man? How does it feel?
It's cool. You know, it puts a smile on my face. My kids are my life, you know, so it's you never thought you'd have a love, you know, for anything. Mm-hmm. So once you have a kid, man, it's a game changer. Can't stop working until I'm old, but you know, it's all good. It's all out of love, man.
No, and I one of the things that I know a lot of people do know is that, you know, I love children. You know, I work with a nonprofit that services children. So, you know, like you said, putting a smile on their face or having a reason, you know, every morning. I mean, I can't tell you how big that is. So, like, you know, for you, what point was it at there where you were like, you know, I know that I want to be a father and I know I'll be a great father?
I met a good girl. You know what I mean?
Okay. Shout out to Ashley.
Big shout out. There's so many crazy girls out here, man, and I kind of got lucky. I met my girl back in high school, and we've been together since, but, you know, I'm not going to just have no kids with some random chick. I got a girl who's a nurse, you know, has her shit together, so it's like, why not? You know what I mean? Why not have them young, get it out the way? So when I'm in my 40s, I could go have fun, you know?
Go golfing. Yeah, man.
You know, it's just... it just happened almost in a sense, you know what I mean? It's like, I didn't know I was ready until I saw her face. And then I was like, all right, you know, this is life now, you know what I mean? It's an amazing feeling, one I can't describe.
That's awesome, Rob. And, you know, a lot of times we even talk about sometimes, how could I say, that you have people that have children, but that doesn't necessarily make them fathers, you know? So, like, I guess, you know, my thing or my question to you is just like, you know, for you, how do you continue to try and be a better father each and every day, you know, so that you can give your kids, you know, the best life that they can, you know?
Just, I don't know, it's weird. It's one of those things where, you know, I see my kids, well, I have a 2-week-old and a 4-year-old, but, you know, I'll see my daughter and, you know, maybe she'll be drawing or something, and, you know, I'll step away from the game and, like, just go give her some time, you know what I mean? Or whatever the case is, just that little bit of time goes a long way, you know? I took my daughter to the trampoline park, and the rest of the night she was all over me, you know? That was what it was all for, because I wanted those cuddles later, you know what I mean? Like, so, you know, it's just the little things, you know? The kids aren't difficult. They're very easy to make happy. You feed them and play with them, and they're good, you know what I mean? Just a little bit of attention is all they need. So that was one thing that, you know, I learned growing up with my parents working so much, you know. I always was looking for someone to show me some love. That with my kid, I'm like, any chance I get, you know. Yeah. What do you want to do? Where are we going? What are we playing?
We'll be on the Xbox of like, Hudson, I love you. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the things that makes me happy when I'm on the box with them. And I guess like another thing that I wanted to ask you too is I know you were big in sports. You played football at Edison High. You played, track. You ran track with Dutch. Shout out to Dutch over there.
Dutch.
But I guess my question to you is, how important do you think is it now to, have your kids? Are you going to have them come into sports? Or?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I'm actually signing up my kid for soccer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out. All right. We signed up for soccer.
She wants to take after. I have a little sister who's pretty good at soccer and basketball, and we take my little one to the games, and now she's like, I want to play soccer and basketball too. So it's like, cool, sign them up. The minute I heard she wants to play, I'm like, you heard that. You
gonna be playing some soccer.
You gonna play. We gonna play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's. I wasn't trying to be pushy about it. I introduced her to a ball, and then she just liked it. So it was like, okay, cool, let's try it. And she was doing the swim thing for a little bit. Mm-hmm. But seeing her aunt play soccer, and her aunt's pretty good.
It's like she got some competition, right?
Nice, but yeah, seeing her play, she was all over it. So it's like, why not sign her up? If she wants to play, let's do it.
And I think that's the big thing that you said too, Rob, is just not forcing something. I can definitely recall a story where my dad, he was huge on baseball for us, right? And he was really trying to push us to play. And I remember Tyree, my brother, he wanted him to play baseball, and it just wasn't something that Tyree wanted, man. And I recall one time my dad was throwing a batting practice, and he hit Tyree. Tyree dropped the bat. He said, "That's it. I'm done." Never played baseball again. Right? So I think the craziest thing that you say, though, is like, not forcing it on your kids. And that's a big thing. So another question I have for you, too, is that, I know the big thing with Kobe, Kobe passing, but, in his passing, we've had a big resurgence of, fathers that are just happy to have girls, and have a girl as a daughter, as your, child. So, explain, what does it mean to you to be a girl dad now that you have two daughters?
It's like you got to be on your A game times 100. Because, like, the minute you're ready to go do some guy thing, you're like, you know what? I got daughters. Let me chill. I don't want no one to do this to my kids or whatever the case may be. So it's just like, it just puts that thought in your head, like, karma might come back to haunt you. You know what I mean? Let's do the right thing here and just, girl dads, man.
Well, hey,
I think about it all the time. I'm like, damn,
I'm a girl dad. He's like, yo, what did I do all this time?
It is what it is.
But you know what? You're a great father, Rob, and that's part of the, like I said, a huge reason why I wanted to have you on this show is because, again, you have people that have children, but, are they real parents? And, you're somebody that I look up to in the sense that, you are exactly what a father's supposed to be. You care about your kids, you're trying to get them in different things, and that's what something I look up to for sure, man. And hopefully if I get that chance, then I can be, half the dad that you are, man. That means a lot, bro.
You got it.
Yeah, but I gotta ask you, does this mean that your kids are gonna be Laker fans now?
Oh, of course.
Are they gonna be Laker fans?
They're already getting groomed into it.
Oh,
they're already getting nice and groomed into the gold and purple, man.
Hey, let's shout out John Zapata here, Erica Julin, Richard N.G., Andrew Disney, Robert Risco, Naya Santiago, not your sister, right? Have the same name, Rebecca Sarah, Courtney Featherman, Eric Mahoney, Rick Chinaki, Jared Kane. We got so many people here on the Facebook live stream, so thank you so much for tuning in, and for everybody else that will be tuning in soon. So definitely got to ask you, since they're going to be Laker fans, and I know you're one of the biggest Laker fans out there, how do you feel about this Laker team, and do you think that they're going to make it to the NBA Finals?
Put me on the spot.
I got to ask you, man.
As a Laker fan, I want to say we're going to win it.
Okay.
I want to say we got this. We're in first place in the West, but those Clippers are scary. And those Bucks are pretty scary too, And it's like, my biggest thing with my Lakers is when LeBron leaves the court.
What happened?
It's so different, man.
Yeah.
The team is like a shell of themselves without him. So it's like, hopefully this Dion Waiters signing helps. A little bit, at least. Maybe you can give us 9-10 minutes off the bench and do something nice for us. But my biggest thing is, what are we going to do when LeBron James just needs his 5 minutes of break? You know what I mean?
And that's big because in the postseason, a lot of times they run LeBron to the ground. And then when you're running him 38 minutes or 40 minutes if it's an extended game, I mean, now you're talking about those injury issues. And we saw that LeBron missed so much time last year. Mm-hmm. But that can only speak to the resurgence that he's had this year, man. I mean, MVP. The Lakers...
Caliber, he's at that level. He's right there.
You must have done your homework, man, because I was going to ask you, do you think LeBron, a lot of people are saying Giannis is the MVP. Do you see LeBron as our league's MVP right now?
It's definitely a close race.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a close race. Giannis is so different, man. He's so powerful. Long and athletic, it's like almost impossible to stop.
Yeah.
You have to throw 2-3 bodies at him to try and stop him sometimes, and that just leaves guys like Chris Middleton wide open.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been doing that all year. But LeBron in year 17, man,
and leading the leagues, man, like in assists.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He just had another triple double the other day. He's balling, and he's balling, and the Lakers are second in the NBA because of it. And I think, no other team has when their star player comes out, is that much different, so that just shows you his worth right there alone. And he's been doing this consistently every single year.
17 years,
every single year.
And I know we're going to put him in, and I know we've, had those conversations, who do you want, LeBron or Kobe, or it becomes LeBron or MJ, but, I can only speak from what I've seen. And one of my, favorite LeBron highlights was when I think they were playing against Detroit, and he rallied off. It was something crazy, like 20-something straight points to end the fourth quarter, and then to go into overtime. So I remember people saying that the knock on him was that he wasn't clutch, but we've seen so many times that, this guy is clutch. I mean, bringing a championship to Miami, coming back to Cleveland, bringing a chip to Cleveland, and now bringing the Lakers back to where they were a laughingstock. They were a laughingstock right next to my Knicks. So, how did you feel, or when you got LeBron James on the Lakers? Like, as a Laker fan, like, how did you feel about that, man?
I'm not gonna lie. Before LeBron was a Laker fan, I'm a huge Kobe fan.
Okay.
So before he was a Laker fan, it was like, no one's better than Kobe. It's Kobe and MJ, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But then LeBron came to the Lakers, and I'm like, we got room for a third goat over here. You know what I mean? So it's like, honestly, just look at last year. We almost made the playoffs if he didn't get hurt. Yeah. We would have probably got in. It wouldn't
as
have
an
been
8 seed,
as an 8 seed, but one man army. Taking another team to the playoffs, and then now with Anthony Davis, it feels good to be a Laker fan because the last 9 or 10 years, all my boys have been getting on me. What's good with them?
They're bad.
It's terrible. They've been pretty awful. So to see them back where we belong, where we belong, all right. At the top.
I have to say, the NBA is good when the Knicks are good. I mean, it hasn't been a while, but it's also good when the Lakers are good. I mean, you have these traditional franchises, and these are the franchises that push those old generation fans. I feel like a lot of times too, you have people like you said it yourself originally that are fans of Kobe, or you might be a fan of LeBron. For you, do you see more so that people are fans of teams, or do you think that they're more so just fans of players nowadays?
I think with the casual fan, they're more loyal to the player rather than the team. But for your hardcore fan, I think it's all about the team.
Oh yeah.
Without Kobe could have went to the Bobcats again. You know what I mean? And I'm still a Laker fan. LeBron could have came and went. It's Lakers all day. You know what I mean? And it's just, I think for a casual fan, yeah, it's cool. Oh, Damian Lillard's going off this year. Let me like
be a Damian Lillard.
yeah, you know what I mean. But I think for a hardcore fan, it's definitely the team. It's definitely the team.
Well, we have Reese here on the Facebook live stream, and he said that think people are more so now fans of players, and I have to agree with Reese on that one because I can look no further than my mom, who she's a fan. She used to be a fan of Rasheed Wallace, so for a little time she's a Blazers fan. Then she liked Blake Griffin. She became a Clippers fan for a little bit. Now I don't know what team she likes. So. Again, even for older women or younger generations who people that like Steph Curry, But once Steph Curry's been out, how many Warriors jerseys have we seen?
Where'd they all go? You know what I mean?
So
it's like
it's that fan of those players, man. But I think one way to kind of focus and, our younger generation has kind of also shifted from, liking just traditional sports as the NBA, NFL, and baseball. And now we have people that are a fan of like UFC and boxing and those contact sports now. Mm-hmm. And one of the big fights that I know a lot of us have been waiting for is that Israel Adesanya fight versus Yoel Romero. So I know, and I'll let everybody in on a secret. A lot of times when we're, watching fights, we'll have a fight party either at my house or it'll be at Rob's house, or we might go to Antoine's house. Shout out to Antoine Jefferson and Cuzzo, maybe that's listening.
Because.
But, people were saying Antoine looked like LeBron when we were in like 8th grade. He's been getting the LeBron treatment for a while.
Big LeBron over there, huh?
Right? But yeah, a lot of people are fans of MMA now. So, I have to get your take on this. I'm sure John Zapata is going to put in the Facebook live stream who he's a fan of. But, who are you a fan of right now as far as in this fight between Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero? Who do you got?
I've been thinking that myself. I think I'm going to go with the champ.
Okay, Adesanya.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the champ. But Yoel's a beast.
Yeah, I mean, they call him the Soldier of God. I mean, you don't just get that nickname, the Soldier of God, man. Like,
that man is built like a god. Have you seen him? He's insane.
Yeah,
he's
insane. He's huge paws. Big paws. But I think the one thing that's going to come down to is just if Romero can really get inside on Adesanya, because I think for a lot of opponents what we see is that Adesanya will tire you, He's going to constantly have those feet moving and he's going to keep his hands going. He's a very active fighter. Mm-hmm. So, how do you think if Romero is going to win this fight, how do you think he's going to be able to counteract that, man?
Sure, well, that's what makes this fight so crazy. Because when he's going toe-for-toe with you, everyone's scared of Yoel Romero for a reason. You know what I mean? The guy's a beast. So when he throws those hands, those kicks, those things got some sting to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But his biggest thing, I think, he's going to have to probably get inside.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to get inside, maybe try and, I don't know if he's going to want to go to the ground like that. They seem to want to, go blow for blow. But I think he's going to have to get close because that reach
that Adesanya has is very underestimated. That
reach is crazy. You look at his arms and they're long. Those arms are long. So it's like, I was watching some highlights yesterday, and you just see him tagging people where they can't even reach him, and he's putting them on the ground. So, Yoel Ramirez being a little smaller, a little bit less of a reach advantage, I think he needs to get inside for sure if he wants a chance. Besides that, he's going to get eaten up, I think.
And that's the biggest thing for me is that, Yoel Romero has to defend himself. I think in the last fight where we saw against Costa, he's out here worried about, sticking his tongue out and stuff. And I don't really think he took that fight serious. So, I'm very interested to see if Yoel Romero can defend himself, because a lot of times he was fighting that guy Costa and he had his hands down. And he just didn't seem like he was ready,
Yeah.
But like you said, when the Soldier of God is looking like he's ready and engaged, I mean, it could be devastating.
It's scary.
But again, what John Zapata says is that, Yoel Romero doesn't have the footwork. And that's kind of the thing that we've seen with Ariel Adesanya, is that he has the footwork to not only change stances on you, but get you to the ground right after he might have hooked you,
Well, they call him the style bender for a reason,
The style bender, right?
That man, he's crazy.
Yeah.
He's doing all types of crazy stuff. He can take you down in any, from any position. That man's a beast. That's why, my money's on Adesanya for sure.
Man, well, I know we talked about a little bit of basketball. We talked about some UFC. I definitely want to ask you before I, have you close out here is, we have baseball that's coming up. And we've had the whole thing about the side. He's a Yankee. He's a Bronx Bomber guy. I don't know. I don't know how we let him in the house, but we'll let him rock. But, how do you feel about your Yankees? And then also, I definitely wanted to ask you, too, also is that, with this whole sign stealing thing that's kind of, happened, Do you think that this is something now that we're going to have to think about, like in this season, or our team's going to get even more advanced to where this is even going to still be a problem?
I don't think so. I think the commissioner and everybody, I think the backlash they're getting from the players, I don't know if you've obviously...
they've been beating them all time in spring training, yeah.
Any chance they get, they're bashing the moves that were made. So.
And for people that don't know what beating is, that means when you intentionally hit the batter, all right? Yep.
What's his name? The second baseman, this guy.
Oh, Jose Altuve?
He got beamed his first pitch.
Yeah, man. Pitch. I mean, this is what happens when you're the poster boy and you're running to go to first base and you're holding your shirt because of a tattoo, man. I think that's a little... I don't know.
That tattoo ain't going anywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was such a terrible cover-up, man. Do you think that maybe the Astros should vacate that? Because, I mean, think about it. Your Yankees lost to the Astros.
Yeah, and Judge lost his MVP. To Altuve that year.
Yeah.
It bothers me. Definitely. Do I think I think Rob Manfred, whatever, he gave pardon to the players. All the players were in on it. You know what I mean? I think the entire team. It's hard to take away a championship. Yeah. You know. Because who knows what could have happened even without them stealing signs. What I do know is that every time they were away, they stunk.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Every time they were away, they stunk. So it's one of those things where I'm upset, but I don't know how I feel about. I'm kind of on the fence how I feel if they should be vacated or not. It definitely sucks as a Yankee fan because that looked like it could have been our year.
Yeah, I mean that was what. Aaron Judge's rookie year, and he had 50 dingers. I mean, that's an unmatched season, man. But I definitely, I just want to thank you for being here on this show, man. Like I said, you're one of my really good friends, Rob. I've known you for a long time. We've been playing Xbox since we were, jits, right? We've been playing for a long time. So, for having this 1-year anniversary show. I thought it was very important to have you on this show, man.
Thank you.
I definitely want to thank you. And, before you close out, is there anything you want to tell anybody out there before you go?
Go Jets.
Yeah! That's the only thing that he has to say is go Jets.
That's it.
On that note, thank you so much for coming here on the show, Rob and Santiago. Go Jets. You can get yourself a beer out of the fridge. Tyree, are we going to pour up some shots of Douce here? Should we pour up some shots here?
You're the showrunner.
Yeah, pour those shots up. Because you know why? We got to bring our next guest on the show. This guy right here, he is one of my really good friends here in the bowling alley. I've known him since he was a kid, And to now see him as somebody that I look up to in the bowling alley, yes, I got to bring this guy on the show. Please, everyone, give a warm welcome for the guy who has the freaking belt. Give it up for Chris Schenck Jr. UVA welterweight Northeast champion, man. Show everybody what that belt look like, man. Oh, man. It looked like, it's so heavy, man. It's so heavy. So, how are you feeling today, Chris, now that you're on the show, man?
I'm feeling good, man. It's humble to be here. Appreciate the invite.
Oh, man. And for everybody that doesn't know, Chris is a huge bowler, in our community. He's somebody that can strike. He's the man. And a lot of times when you have with bowlers, have very different personalities. And you might have some people that don't talk much. You have some people that don't shut up, But Chris has been always somebody that's been very humble. And the real reason why I brought him on this show, everyone out there, is Chris shot his first perfect game last Saturday. He shot his first 300. What was going through your mind that night when, you got that 300, that perfect game, man?
At what point?
In the ninth frame, after you just hit that ninth strike in a row, what was going through your mind, man?
Don't choke. That's about it. Honestly, I wanted it for a long time, obviously, but it was more along the lines of just finish the game. I've been struggling for pretty much all year finishing in the 10th, and I was just like, yo, I gotta finish in the 10th, bro. Like, my dad's there, people that watch me grow up since I was a kid's there. Like, I gotta finish in the 10th. Like, that's all that was on my mind.
And everybody that's out there, he finished in the 10th.
Yes,
and when I tell you, the whole bowling alley almost felt like it was shaking because everybody was just so happy for him. I was supposed to go up. I put my ball down. I didn't even care if I had to shoot next. I said, I'm going over to his lane. I'm giving this guy a big hug, man. And as I was on my way over there, you know, one of the things that kind of touched me was the fact that, you know, you were embraced with your father, and you guys were tearing. Like, did you guys say anything to each other in that moment, or was it just embracing?
Now he said he was proud of me. Man, don't do that to me. He said he was proud of me and all, and you know what I'm saying, he knows I worked hard for it, you know what I'm saying, he's my idol on the lane, so it meant a lot for me to have him there. Now, besides him being my father, he's my idol, so it meant a lot.
And, you know, for me, one of the things that I value so much is the fact that I get to go out on Wednesday and Thursday night, and I get to bowl with my father, man, and for a lot of people that bowl, they don't really get that opportunity, right? So, like, can you just talk about what it means to just go out there and compete with your father?
It's a little different than you because I bowl against my dad. Like last year is the first time we matched up against each other. And, you know, I beat him. I shot 279 on him last year.
Oh man!
This year he definitely did the reverse and got me pretty good. I bowled terrible against him this year. But you know, definitely in the future, very soon I'm going to be bowling with him. Besides just the UBA and league and stuff, you know, and that's something I wanted for a long time, is to bowl with my dad and stuff, so that's going to mean a lot to me.
And, you know, one of the things that you also talked about, too, is the fact that, you know, you have those idols in the bowling alley, those people that you look up to, you know, for someone to be your idol, or for someone to, you know, it's not necessarily maybe the best bowler, right? So, like, what is your criteria as someone that you look up to in the bowling alley? What does that person need to check off for you?
For me, it's more along the lines of the people I watched, but for sure someone who's humble, someone who's come up from, you know, not being so good and became great, someone who puts the time in, someone who just loves the game as much as I do is probably the most that motivates me.
Mm-hmm.
From people, from my dad to Mark Clark to Joel. Those are people that I grew up watching, not only because they bowled with my dad, but because they have such a love for the game, and I do too, so it means a lot to me.
Yeah, and, you know, one of my father is also one of my idols, and, you know, one of the things that we're, you know, constantly conflicting with, or, you know, different bowlers in the bowling alley, is that some people like when you celebrate, and then you have some people that are like, why is he being so loud, right? And I know me and you are kind of similar, that when we're feeling like, let's go, right? Yeah. So, like, you know, how do you try to find that balance of, like, when I should get loud, or when it's just like, all right, I'm just doing some regular stuff?
For me, it's, I get loud when I need it. If I need to come in clutch and strike, and I do, I'm going to get loud. Otherwise, I'm humble. You know, like, my UBA name is Shh. I like to be quiet. I bowl my game, and you know, those times where I come in clutch, or those times where I needed something and I get it, I get loud.
And I know for a lot of people, like we said, my man has the belt here. He's got this big. We talked about UFC before, but I mean, for people that don't know, this is a very huge thing to have this belt here. So I think it would be very informative, or be very helpful for a lot of people to kind of tell them, you know, what is the UBA? So can you give us a little bit, like, what is the UBA?
Okay, so basketball, you have AAU, you know, you have travel, FBU, and football. UBA is pretty much that for bowlers. It's Underground Bowling Association. Besides the fact that you get to meet bowlers from all over the, you know, tri-state, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, as far as Georgia, all the way up to Connecticut, and sometimes even further. The UBA has created something where all your different type of bowlers, different styles, trash talkers, we have our own lingo, like, you know what I'm saying? It comes from the UBA.
Hold up!
Hold up! 6? All that, it created something beautiful for the bowling community, so it's really dope.
Now, having been in the UBA, there's these different matches that you have, and somehow you got this big belt, right?
Yes, sir.
So how did you get this belt, and what does this belt mean?
All right, so I'm in the World Championship Series.
Okay.
So pretty much at Battle Bowl, which is the Northeast big tournament for UBA, you have all different type of events there. It was held in Delaware this year. You pay your $10 fee and you qualify. So welterweight, the division I'm in, is for people who average 199 and under. And at the time, my entering average was.
I gotta tell you a funny story about this too, because when I first found out that he was the welterweight champ, the first thing I wanted to do was tell my dad, I was like, "Yo, Dad, he's the welterweight bowling champ," and my dad's like, "They put you on the scale?" So it was like the funniest thing in the world. So I'm sorry, but I thought that was a funny. But yeah, he's like, "Yo, he's the welterweight champ. Like, do they have to put him on the scale? Like, do they weigh these bowlers?" But yeah, so the welterweight means you're in between what, 205 and
no, 195 and 199 and under.
Okay.
As entering average, and at the time I was 195. Then you have your cruiserweight, which is 200 to 215. Heavyweight, you have your Vixens, you have your tag team, uncapped tag team. So there's different divisions you enter. I entered this one. I placed 19th after Battle Bowl. Going forward, you have a match every month, which is like a ranking match, and I haven't lost yet in this division. I won my first 3 matches. Bowled my number 1 contender match. Won that, and then I went on to bowl for the belt against someone who didn't lose in 2 years.
Wow. So this guy is the real deal, guys.
Yeah, he was holding on to his belt for a little while.
And you took it from him.
I had to, man.
He said I had to. What a Jersey response, man. I had to.
Listen, I had to. It was either, somebody got to eat, and I was a little hungry.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I mean, I bowled. It was the best match I ever had. Not so far in scores, but in the competition as a whole. We went to a Game 7. That was my first Game 7. He definitely made me earn it, for sure. He definitely made me earn it, and I just defended it last month in February.
Shout out to you, man.
I wanted that too, and I got to defend it. Defending each month till Battle Bowl, until eventually, either someone beats me or I have to relinquish.
Well, that ain't gonna happen because you ain't gonna lose, man.
Listen,
we gonna have.
I ain't got time to pay lineage, man.
So if you don't win your match, you got to pay the lineage for the
sir.
match. So loser pays. And, I think for you, the big thing, that I've always liked is the fact that, you're constantly trying to get better. So let me tell you, after I got done shooting league on Thursday, and this is a story that I see, I'm in the bar. I was drinking. I wasn't getting better. I was just drinking, right? And here, Chris shows up. He has his balls. It's about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and he's ready to shoot games. And he must have shot about he must have shot about 3 or 4 games. And I came out after the second one. My man is drenched in sweat at 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's like, man, I like the speed bowl, man. I like the speed bowl. But it's that, and so I forget I don't know who said it. Actually, I think it was Elise that said it. She's like, so I guess that's what it takes to win the belt. Now, she might have been joking around, but that really resonated to me because I was like, yeah, that is what it takes to win the belt. After you get done with league, or maybe sometimes when you're not, bowling, he still came in and practiced. So, like, how do you find that motivation that even though you have the belt, to continue to get better so that you can keep the belt?
It's not even, the belt is great, but it's more along the mindset of I have to get better. I want to be better than the next guy. So for me, it's even after league on Saturdays, if I bowl a bad game or I'm lost, I'll go up to Ann at the desk and be like, yo, can you turn on the lanes for me? I need to practice. I'll bowl 2 or 3 and, figure out where I went wrong and figure out a shot. And the lanes are dry by that point, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still trying to figure out a shot. It's just so that, I stay fresh and I keep going. And, hard work beats talent. You know what I'm saying?
That's
sometimes.
facts.
So you got to just keep going. You got to keep practicing. You got to get better.
And I think that's a huge thing for you to say is that hard work beats talent. I mean, you could have the best balls or the best equipment. You could be throwing a UFO phase 3, but if you don't know how to throw that, what is it going to do for you, So, that's huge, man. And I think another thing that's cool, too, is the fact that, we talk about bowlers and we're on our own little, community. But, you know, we kind of fit into that niche, and I think that a lot of times with teams, you know, each team has its own vibe, right? Like, you know, you have Saturday night where, you know, people are in your face, but then you have something on Wednesday night for me where you might not be as in your face, but it's still very competitive. So I guess my question to you is like, you know, how is it that you find, you know, that bowling alley or that league or that team that you're like, how have you been able to find, you know, your place within such a vast bowling community?
Mainly because I think I make friends really easily. I think I vibe with people. I'm really easygoing and I'm humble. So it's like more along the lines, how would they fit around me? You know
I like that. I like that.
Rather than me trying to fit with them, I want them to fit around me. So, you know, like besides bowling and in real life, I have different groups of friends where, you know, I could joke about certain things with them. You know, some people, you know, you have to
situational awareness.
You know, exactly. Situational awareness. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like on Tuesdays, I'm bowling in a league where the atmosphere is completely different from Saturdays.
Oh, yeah.
Completely different. Yeah, you have some people are loud, but it's more along, you know, one, it's a scratch league and it's head-to-head. So it's 100 times more competitive because you have to beat your guy. You have to beat your guy. You have to get your point. But you have to do that and have fun at the same time. So it's a little bit different than Saturday where, you know, you're bowling as a team and, you know, it's handicap. So, you know, you have a little bit of leeway if you mess up. This one, it's like as soon as you mess up, the next guy keeps going. You got to pick back up somewhere and you have to try to catch him. So for me to bowl around certain people, it's not really tough. You know, everybody has the same goal. Everybody wants to win. So that's pretty much how I see it.
And I like also that you mentioned a different wrinkle in there too, is that, you know, since I've been bowling for I've only been bowling for about 3 years now, but every league that I've been in has been a handicap league. And for some people that don't know, handicap means you get extra pins based off of your average, right? So I've actually never experienced an all scratch league where it's just whatever you shoot is what you shoot. You don't get any extra pins. So, you know, besides that pins difference, is there really a huge difference as far as, you know, scratch bowling and handicap bowling? Is it a little bit harder with scratch, or do you feel like it's harder to bowl handicap where you have to make up those pins?
I feel like it's harder to bowl scratch. One, because when in the scratch league, we often base lineups of who we're bowling against or bowling across from. So if I'm bowling somebody, if I'm 195 and I'm bowling someone who's 210, I already know that I have to accommodate, you know,
for those
the 15 pins that he's going to be better than me then. So now it's the thought that I have to strike or I have to make this fair. Not, if I missed it, you know, I'll be all right. You know, I'm up on handicap. You know what I'm saying? So with me bowling scratch, it makes me a better bowler because it gives me the pressure the whole entire game. I don't have to wait till the 10th frame to strike or, you know, or mark or whatever. I have to be better than the guy I'm bowling or lady I'm bowling across from at all times. So it's a little bit more demanding. Handicap, it's not easy, especially when you're giving up a lot. But at least you know what you're giving up. You know what you have to make up for.
Big facts.
You know
there's that unknown factor in scratch.
Yeah.
Somebody might be a 205, 210 average, but they can shoot 230, 240.
Right.
You know,
and there's plenty of people in the league where they're 160 shooting 220. You know what I'm saying? So it's the matter of fact, you can't underestimate anybody at all, ever.
Definitely.
But definitely not bowling scratch because anything is possible.
Yeah, and I think you're 100% right as far as, you know, anything is possible or any given Sunday, they say, too.
Yeah.
But, you know, one thing I definitely wanted to talk to you also about is that, you know, a lot of times, you know, we have bowlers and, you know, all we know about them is that they bowl, right?
Yeah.
So for you, you know, being Chris Schenck, having the belt, you know, what else do you like to do outside of just bowling, man? Like, what are some of your other passions, man?
I'm a little bit of a gamer, I guess. It depends on what we're talking about. I work a lot. I'm a sneakerhead.
Okay, sneakerhead. What's one of your favorite cops that you got so far?
Bunny 8s. That's the GOAT shoe. That's my favorite of all time.
Okay. I actually I'm not a big sneakerhead, but I got a pair of 8s. I actually got a pair of Aqua 8s.
Okay, yeah. So, you know, you up there with Aqua 8. Right.
my one pair of Aqua 8s.
Listen. I started with one pair, man. I started with a pair of Spizikes.
Really? Oh, I remember the Spizikes.
Yeah,
Did
you
you
know.
have it, Rob? You had to...
No Spizikes.
Rob's was
I
a
wasn't
dunk.
privileged. I wasn't privileged.
The way I got it was crazy. I was playing football my freshman year at Edison High School, and one of the kids happened to be my size, but his foot kept on growing, so he couldn't fit him anymore. So he gave it to me, and I was like, yo, like I already loved sneakers, but I couldn't afford them. So for him to give that to me, it just drove me even harder. I'm like, yo, whenever I get some money, bro, I'm about to cop some sneakers. Like, it don't matter if I didn't have a fit for it. I got the sneakers. That's all that mattered. That's all that mattered.
But I think that's a big culture now, man, is the fact that, a lot of people do like sneakers. They do like seeing what's on other people's feet. I mean, now you have jobs on LinkedIn for Bleacher Report kicks just to take pictures of people's sneakers, dog. So, like, this sneaker culture is something that it's been big since we've grown up, and it's continued to be big, man. And, I've never really tapped into it myself, but, what kind of got you started into that sneaker culture besides that first shoe that you got?
Alright, so at first I kind of was a hype beast, you know what I'm saying? You see people with dope kicks on and stuff, and it's like, alright, those are dope, I want those. But I started working at Champs around my junior year, and I'm still there. I've been there for like 5 years.
Okay, shout out to
And
longevity.
Yeah, right. And then my mom loves Air Max 90s. She's always been Air Max 90s. My dad's always been like a Tim's and an Air Force kind of guy, you know what I'm saying? Always classic with that. And then I had a couple family members, always had the retros or something like that. So I was like, all right, so that's what I'm into. Like, I'm a Air Max, sometimes Air Forces, but I'm mainly Jordan. Like, my big thing is Jordan, foam posits, and a couple Air Maxes here and there. But it's just something I picked up, and I've just been into ever since. It's just, I can't get rid of it.
And that's cool, man, that you found something that, elevates yourself also, and then also, kind of keeps you tapped into, like, that pop culture, what's hip out there. But one of the things that kind of runs parallel or hand in hand, I feel like, with the sneaker culture is the hip hop culture as well too, right? So I guess, we had somebody on the show last week in Tony Ward, who his name is Skilly, and he's making his own music. We had Ziggity Zombie. I actually listen to him. I like him a lot. He's got good music. What are some artists that, you listen to, when you're not bowling, or maybe when you're bowling? Like, who's some artists that you're listening to right now?
Believe it or not, me and Tyree went to high school with a kid that I listen to a lot. His name is, he goes by Chase.
Okay.
The Kai.
Kai? Okay,
Yeah.
Chase. All right.
I actually like his music a whole lot. Like, I listen to it 24/7 whenever he drops something. I'm listening to it. He lives down the street from me. And I'm bumping him like I'm his biggest fan and stuff. I'm a big Hobson fan.
Hobson, that's a throwback, man.
Yeah.
Dude, he was a weird dude, but I mean, he could spit. He could spit. I'll give you that for sure.
I'm a big Hobson fan. I'm a little bit of a sucker for pain music. Those rappers that talk about something real. I always fell a sucker to that. I listen to that when I bowl, work out, anything. I'm always listening to that. A little bit weird. I listen to some rock when I bowl.
Okay.
Nothing
wrong with that.
I mix it up a little bit.
We got a secret here. The champ listens to rock. And that's a good question. Let me ask you this. So, we had shout out to Landis Crawford, who I think you actually showed up when last night at League he shot 300 against me. He shot Trey Bomb. I'm like, so, and man, shout out to Landis. I love you, man, but I was pissed off because we won the first 2 games. Landis comes out, shoots 300, and we lose the wood, which means we lost the total pins. So because it was a 9-point system, we win the first 2 games, you wind up losing 4-5, right? And I looked at him, and the whole time he had his earbuds in. He wasn't talking to nobody. He was just locked in the zone. So, like, do you feel like that helps you out? Like, you put in music to drown out everybody else, or do you feel like you need to hear that alley? Like,
my biggest problem when I bowl is I tend, especially when I need help, I tend to listen to too much people, too much of what people say. So when I put headphones in, not only does it tune them out, it helps me figure out what I'm doing wrong because I'm not listening to everybody else. You always have that one person who, not saying that they don't know what they're talking about, but they'll say something.
You should be switching balls.
Right. Or then somebody else will say something. I'm just like, okay, do both. I do both, it doesn't work. And then I'm frustrated, you know what I'm saying? When I should just be trying to bowl my own game and figure it out. When I need the help, I'll definitely extend the hand, you know what I'm saying? If if I'm struggling, I'll go to my dad, or I'll go to Lucas, or I'll talk to somebody, or Trip. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to Trip or something. I'll be like, listen, this is what I'm doing. And they know my game, so it's like them knowing my game is the best thing that could happen, because going to someone who doesn't know your game and then they try to base it off their game.
Every game is different, and we've talked about that before. It was like, you have people that barely walk out there, but they're averaging 220s.
Right.
There's so many different ways to strike, and I think that's the thing that has kept me coming back and asking different people what they like to do, because there's so many different ways to strike. And, I hate to, I've become such a geek with this bowling stuff, because all I want to do is talk bowling. I want to listen to people that are bowlers. And, it's just really awesome. And one of the people that I really, like is this guy Harold. He bowls there on Saturday. Now, Harold's not exactly the best bowler, but he's somebody that is a student of the game, and I look up to him because he always is focused. He's always thinking about the game, and he's always, being positive towards other people, And that's the type, when you talked about, people that you look up to, Harold's one of those people that I look up to, because there's a certain energy that you get from these bowlers, and there's a certain, vibe that you get. And, especially when you talk about extending the hand, a lot of times it can be from a place where they're trying to base it off their own game.
Right.
But, one of the things that he always had told me is just, trust yourself, man. Go out there and get it. And it's always been positive things. So is there something that, like, somebody said to you, just tip-wise, there was one thing that somebody said to you that kind of just stuck out to you that you've taken with you?
One shot at a time is always the best thing I could ever hear. Mainly because if I start off and I'm struggling, I'm still holding that throughout the game. I'm trying to over adjust. I'm overthinking. I'm like, oh, this lane is different than that lane, and sometimes I'll overread the lane. Sometimes it's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you could just take a simple thing, one shot at a time, breathe, loosen up. Smaller first step, small things like that can change the whole dynamic of the game. And I have that problem often. I always overthink, or I get frustrated, and it's like, one shot at a time. I got you.
Yeah, man. And one of the things that, shout out to Ed Bokovich, he's a good bowler that I see at Greenbrook and Majestic. One of the things that he told me is, you got to let the ball work. A lot of times we're out there trying to, throw it hard or trying to overcompensate, like you said. But, we pay $200, $150, $220, depending on how good the ball is. We pay so much money for this ball. Why not let that thing work, right? So, that was one thing that he told me that's kind of stuck with me for a while. But, one of the things that you have, too, like you said, you have this belt. You've accomplished so much in such a short span of time with bowling. So I guess my question to you is, just outside of the bowling alley, what are some of your goals, or what are some things that you're looking to do, like in these next coming years, outside of this bowling?
Career, definitely. Figuring out a career. That's my main goal right now. Besides, we're exercising. Trying to go to the XFL, man. You know what I'm
you're trying to go XFL.
I'm trying to go to XFL.
Hey, I don't want to get tackled by you, man. I'll give you that.
Listen, I miss playing football. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could have played longer, but life happens. You don't play. But like I said, if I could get in some kind of shape and maybe go to the XFL one day, I won't be complaining.
Well, you know what? I think the big thing too is that like we said, just trying to find something you're passionate about. I mean, to think that I started out college my freshman year thinking that I was going to work with computers, right? Like that wasn't, that wasn't my thing. At first I thought that's what I wanted to do, but it just speaks to how much time that it takes to find out what you like. I mean, I was 18 years old in Virginia studying computer science, and that wasn't something I wanted to do. And then when I transferred to York, I found out, I knew that I loved basketball, but I found out that, I really enjoyed the communications. I enjoyed writing. I enjoyed reading, and I was big in philosophy. And then to go to Millersville after that and find out that I really enjoyed, sports reporting, and there were so many different avenues as opposed to just playing the sport, right?
Absolutely.
So the whole point that I'm just trying to make here is that, in time, you just have to be patient with, finding out what your passions are, because like I said, at 18 years old, I started out as, trying to do something that I didn't really want to do, to now having my own podcast, covering sports. I mean, I'm going to be at the Garden next week for the Big East tournament.
Okay.
And that's something that I really enjoy, and that's something that I'm super passionate about. So, with you, just take your time, just experience life, try and find out what it is that you like, and just take it slow, because, everything, doesn't happen instantaneous. And if it does, a lot of times it's not sustainable. Right. So, you'll find your way, man. Sometimes you just gotta take your time, bro.
I appreciate it.
Right?
I appreciate that.
But I definitely want to thank you for being here on the show,
Absolutely.
Chris.
It's
Even though you're younger than me, like I said, I look up to you a little bit here in this bowling game, because again, you talk about being that humble person. You talk about just how much this belt means to you, and then to see with my own eyes the work ethic that you put in every single day. Whether we're at league, whether we're not at league, whether we're at this alley, we're at that alley, you're so receptive to trying to get better. And that's something I think that we all as viewers out here can embrace. Elijah, whether you're playing basketball, or whether we have other people that do cosmetics, or whether you have people that are trying to be the best nurse that they want to be, everything that you want takes hard work. I mean, I was so afraid to fail, man. I didn't have this podcast for a long time. This should have been done 2-3 years ago. But the thing is, everything takes time. And when it is your time, you have to be able to take advantage of those opportunities.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've had people that I've asked to be on this show that, haven't taken advantage of that opportunity. But are they going to get that call again? I had you, who I asked you right off rip, and you were so excited, man. And
yeah.
I can't speak to, how much that meant to me. And that just really just spoke to the fact that you want to take advantage of an opportunity, man. And, I just can't speak to the importance of taking advantage of those opportunities that you have out there and just being ready, man. So, in my closing, that I want to ask you before we cut out of here, if you had any advice to give to your younger self, or to maybe some of the younger viewers out there, what advice would you give your younger self, or to anybody out there?
Man, don't let nobody stop you from your dreams. Keep going hard. Keep working, man. That's it. Stay humble. Stay humble. There was a point in time where I wasn't too humble about bowling. There was a time I didn't really care too much, because I lost the connection with it.
Yeah.
And I went in a slump, in a funk, I guess you would say. But you gotta just keep going, man. Whatever you suffer through now, it'll all pay off in the end.
Hey, and I think that's a great way to segue out. I think we got to give a big clap to my boy Chris Schenck. Thank you so much for being on the show. Rob, come on, have a seat here too. We got to bring everybody on here. Tyree, where's the champagne? Where's the champagne? Where is the shots? All right, yeah, move it on over. This is a party, everybody. We had a great we had a great show here. I want to give a big shout out to Rob. One of the best fathers out there. Awesome dude. Want to give a big shout out to my boy Chris here. Had a great show. I mean, how else can we have the #1 year anniversary of the Talk That Talk show without popping some champagne or having some shots? We got Tyree here. Did you in here, Tyree? Look, Tyree's in on the Yeah, man. Like I said, I got my whole family here. I got my friends here. I mean, this podcast is an extension of everyone, man. I mean, I have so many people telling me how much they love this show, tell me about things that they want to hear about. I mean, you got a belt, you got the champ on the show, and it's things like that. You never know what is going to happen on the Talk That Talk show. I mean, we started out as a sports show, and, we've transcended into something that everybody can listen to, whether you like sports or not. I mean, I was talking to Lucas today. Shout out to Lucas Leandro.
Yes,
and he's actually a guy that, drills a lot of our balls. Pause. But drills our bowling balls. But one of the things that he talked about is that he had a guy that has a bowling podcast. And, he loves it. It's cool. But you might not want to hear about bowling all the time. And when you talk about the Talk That Talk show, you never know what you're going to get out of this podcast. So that's why you always got to tune in each and every week, because I promise you that's something that I made to myself, is that I'm going to deliver you a quality podcast every single week, regardless of who we have on the show, right? We got a UBA champ here with the belt. We got an amazing father here on the show. We got my brother who's here right with me. I mean, who else would I rather have on this show? So to that, everybody, let's take a shot of the Douce. We got some Douce here. Cheers up, guys. Cheers. Much continued success. We got the Talk That Talk show here. Wow. Woo. And we gonna pop some champagne here. We popping champagne. It is the 1 year anniversary of the Talk That Talk show. We got some Bel Air. Shout out to my boy, Ricky Rosette. Shout out to Ricky Rosette for some good champagne. Alright, we got one for the champ. Sure. Everybody out there tuning in. Hey, Tyree, can you pour these last two for me? Shout out to our boy Charnice. Shout out to Parang Juve, Gerald Moore, Jeff Farrell, Elijah Boone Wells, Luke Blum, John Zapata, my dad who's not here, Matt Kuyumjin, Jody Byers, Mary Beth Heaney, Reese Smith, John Wydell. I mean, the Facebook live stream is booming as usual. It looks like you guys need a little bit more Bel Air. I'm sorry. We gotta pour them up a little bit more Bel Air. I'm sorry, a little bit more. You know, we're not always like this, everybody out there, but you know what? When you're doing great things, it's okay to celebrate, all right? Bowlers out there, if you're striking, don't matter if you want to celebrate. Do it. This is 2020. Don't be silent. Do it. And we're going to take a little cheers here with the champagne. Last cheers here, guys. Thank you to everybody. Shout out to everybody out there on our Facebook live stream. Shout out to our sponsors, Executive Bar and Restaurant, located in Carteret, New Jersey. Shout out to VW Liquors, located in Edison, Wick Plaza. We do this for Dave at the end of the show. Let's go, Mets! Let's go, Mets! Yo, what are you doing, Rob? No! And then also shout out to Cody Bromley at 91s.com. He's got some of the best acid wash apparel in the game. I'm just happy to be here, man. I got my whole family here. You know, my brother's here. Say what's up, Ty.
Yeah, I gotta get the face.
Oh, no. You don't want to be on camera because you don't got the fade. I'm sorry.
I'm a couple weeks behind on my
Yo! But, you know, I got my family, my friends here. I mean, I feel like the richest guy in the world, man. I mean, the world is great when you have a full heart, you know, and my heart is filled today. I got all of you out here on the Facebook live stream. One more time, we're gonna cheers here. Thank you, and we're gonna keep the success train going, baby. The Talk That Talk show ain't going nowhere. Sorry, we ain't going nowhere. So if you want to celebrate with us, we may or may not be at Stage House. You can check if you want. That place in Somerset, New Jersey. It's become our unofficial Friday spot. So if you want, have a drink with us at Stage House. My name is Barry Holmes. This is the Talk That Talk show. Every week, you will have a new episode of the show. You never know who you're going to have here on the show. Shout out again to my boy Robin Santiago. Shout out to Chris Schenck Jr., the UBA Northeast Welterweight Champion. My name is Barry Holmes, just a regular dude with a podcast, and we are out of here!